That's what America needs, a good man. You're not awake. That's what America needs. Is a good man. Maybe one good man. I am not going to be the barrier of the desire that you have for questions, but give me a moment. First of all, to let you know that you are in an area that was devastated by Hurricane Harvey. It looks as if these are many apartments, but Greens Bayou is just a few blocks away. And you may have seen some of the boat rescues. A lot of it was in this area. Some of you may be in this area and live on both sides of 45. So first of all, let me say to you, you have a good man who's fighting to make sure that each and every one of you could be whole. Secondarily, let me acknowledge, you call the shepherd of this great church, who believes not in edifices with big, wonderfully pointed steeples, but a church that the door is open and can be made into anything from a homeless shelter to a place to eat. Pastor Deckard is an amazing leader for young people, and I am honored to be his congressperson. I want to acknowledge your next railroad commissioner and distinguished Chris Spellman, who is here, I know. We've got the former chairman of the board of the Lone Star College, who has made great strides out here and is now running for the state legislature. That is Randy Bates. I'm not sure if I missed any other candidates here. This is
Chrisville Spring ISD.
all right.
Yeah.
Very good. And judges here as well. I know that you all will honor them. But let me just say this. I believe in Beto, but I didn't get this dressed up for him. I just came out of a funeral. But it's symbolic, and so let me just give you that. And I told him, this was Lady Emma Primus that was 112 years old. Many of you may have seen her story. But the 19th Amendment came, and as an African-American woman, she voted first in 1924, paying poll tax. But she voted mostly because she was able to vote because of that amendment. She has voted in every election since. She was able to vote for President Obama, and then to vote for a woman in 2016. One of the things, the symbol is not who she voted for. It is the power of the vote for a good man. We Texans come from many places. Beto has spoken about issues. I want to talk about character and the goodness of what makes America great. There's a lot of tall timber in East Texas. Beto is just as good in East Texas as he is right here in Houston, Texas. You go west, and El Paso has its own color and description, but you would think that it's heading toward that California understanding of the climate and all that some people would call progressive. But in the mix is West Texas and Dallas and Fort Worth, the place I love, the Valley, a whole mixture of people. And what you're looking at is a candidate that for a time such as this, as Lady Emma would say, this is the person. This is the person. Together, we not only stood for you with a budget that was created by the lobbying and the advocacy of the both of us crossing over to the Senate to get a budget that was for human beings, that was for people, that was for people who need education or Social Security. That's what we stood up for on Thursday morning about 5 a.m. At the same time, we kept the fight going for those young people who have been disfranchised. That is an individual who can come to an issue and look at it in both ways and relate to people who agree and disagree. So what do we need to do? I won't go into a long line of issues because he will be right up here to address them. But what I have gleaned as I have had the privilege of, over the years, visiting all parts of Texas, standing on that border from San Diego all the way to Texas, seeing unaccompanied children fall into my arms getting off a bus when they were fleeing the murderous actions in El Salvador and Guatemala and Honduras. It got me to thinking what people need is just someone to care about them. What America needs is someone to care about them, or Americans, or the government above anything else, besides his family. So Beto O'Rourke, as he begins to speak to you, is that emblem of what words were cast in the 2016 election about America's greatness. Many of you, your mothers and fathers, told you that words cannot matter without deeds. And so I want someone who has evidenced deeds. Whatever I say, from the tall timber of East Texas to El Paso, the far north, and down in the valley, here's a man that has deeds. But he will not win if you don't vote like you've never voted before. Vote like you just got your vote by the 19th Amendment. Vote that you just got it in the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Vote like no one will ever stop you from voting. Let it be a hurricane, volcano, let you climb up tall mountains and low valleys. Let you have to go where you've never gone before. Don't worry about the preaching and not where it was. They took the preaching away from you, but you will vote. Because we can do this if you vote. That is the power of people. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to stop by in the midst of the celebration of a life of 112 years old that is an icon, because it is worth it in her life, as she has gone on to glory, for her to rest in peace, for the fact that her nation will be placed in the hands of a good man. So, ladies and gentlemen, as he comes back, I want you to stand again and say that I will vote. I need to hear you. I will vote. No matter what impediment is put in front of me. No matter what mountain, no matter what valley, I will vote and he will win. All right.